You're listening to Kick-Ons with Firman and Jaay.
Yeah, boys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second last episode for the season 1 premiere.
Damn, already up to episode 9.
We are.
That's crazy, yeah.
Kick-Ons with Firman and Jaay. My name's Jaay. Sitting to my left is Firman. And today we have a very special guest for you and your viewing and listening pleasure. Ladies and
Live
gentlemen,
from the UK.
would you like to welcome DJ, producer, and Firman's best friend,
Kid Caird, Michael Caird.
Caird. How are you, my friend?
Going on? I'm good, boys. How are we?
Yeah, you know, that's it. What?
You're looking magical, my friend.
This
I love
is
that.
why I didn't want you to fucking control this
It's going to be
because
fantastic, trust me. Hello, you. All the way from Cornwall, UK, England. London. All the way from Cornwall,
Yep.
England.
You know it.
how many kilometers away is that from Perth?
Oh, a shit ton of kilometers. It's the other side of the world.
It's a big
Yeah,
shame.
it really is, isn't it? Well, let me just try and actually bring up how far you are from.
I'm going to
us
say,
right
ready? I'm going to call it here. 16,000 kilometers.
16,000.
I'm gonna make a wild guess.
Okay.
All right, 16,000 around that ballpark. So give me 16 to 17,000 kilometers. All right. So Google, as you can see, Firman is furiously typing on
I'm
the
trying my hardest.
on
Oh,
the,
shit. That didn't work.
on the keyboard.
I don't know how to. Wait. I think I have to do it on here. This is going to be awkward for everyone listening on Spotify.
That's why I put it on there. Oh, boy. So, for those who don't know why,
Oh, 14,000. Well,
Oh!
14,810 kilometers away.
so close. I was at what 10,000, 12,000 kilometers off.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, actually. No, 2,000 kilometers off, actually.
Oh, that's not that bad.
2,000 kilometers off. That's not bad.
Anyway, beside the point, we're going off tangents.
Let's do it.
So, Michael, introduce yourself for everyone who doesn't know who you are. That's probably limited people, but anyway, go for it.
All right. So, my name's Michael Caird, also known as Kid Caird. I've been a DJ producer for about 5 years now. I picked up music production 2.5 years ago. I'm all about house music, tech house music. And I like to party and act like a kid, hence the name Kid Caird.
Kid. Will you ever change your name?
That's
DJ?
probably the biggest question I've been asked, and I think I'm sticking with it.
Well, I mean, look, there's young Sly out there. He's no longer young, is he?
Yeah,
That
he should
motherfucker's
be
so
gone
old,
past
bro.
that.
Why is it crickets?
Because he's so old. Because the jokes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
That's
guess a
terrible.
stage name is a stage name. You can
Yeah,
always,
for sure.
It's like a history, you know, of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say it's the best representation, really, of me. And it was always a nickname that I got when I started out back when I met you, Firman. And yeah, I got that nickname, Kid, and it just stuck with me and will forever be stuck.
I actually never heard that story of how you got your name.
Oh,
Yeah, that's-
exclusives here.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but is that pretty much it? That is how you got your name.
Yeah. Well, pretty much. So before I was a DJ, I was into photography, and that's how I met Firman.
How the fuck were we all photographers at one point? This is crazy.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But Firman introduced me to a lot of the industry friends I still have today. Brought me on as one of the photographers for his business, Next Level Perth.
Next Level.
And it was, around that time where I would have only been about 18 and a half, 19, and I was doing a lot. So I was doing photography, working full time.
Yep.
And, people, when they first meet me, they think I'm much more older. So when I would meet
Yeah.
new people, they would be like, "Oh, you do all this, you do all this. How old are you? How old are you?" I'd be like, "Oh, I'm 19," and they're like,
Damn.
That's
"Fuck,
crazy.
You look like 25, 26, and everything you're doing. You're still a kid. You're still a kid."
Yeah, that's where Kid Caird came. I like that. That's didn't even realize.
You know, we all share one thing in common, boys. That is when we were younger, we were hustling hard. We all had multiple
Yeah,
jobs.
correct, correct.
I think Mike had his full-time retail job, if I'm not wrong. Nightlife
So
job.
that was it was full time City Beach retail.
God damn.
And do it. Yeah, it was horrible. But then doing photography,
Yep.
and then
Nightlife.
went into JB Hi-Fi, so that was like electronic consumer goods
Yeah, of
retail, doing the DJing. Yeah,
That's
working on
crazy.
hustling.
And obviously Firman, on the other hand, he's a photography, event management, promos, graphic design, and then me on the other side, the same thing like DJ. I started a fucking photography company.
I mean, I gu're all just creatives. That's just how.
You guys are creators. I fucking sucked. I don't know how I got paid, but it was fucking.
I haven't actually seen your
hustle.
photos.
Terrible.
Oh, they're bad. Okay, well, let's not talk about that. Now, before you were a tech house DJ and producer, you played a bit of dubstep.
Yes, I sure did. So
my.
that was when I first started the DJ Conquest, and I was into dubstep music and mixing all of that. And I had a great time doing it. I probably was a dubstep DJ for 2 years, and that was during the very peak risen time in Perth, where dubstep was really breaking through.
So like Big Ape was around.
Yeah, and like Basement.
Basement.
Basement, Syndicate.
Wow.
We're bringing out all these amazing artists and acts. So yeah, I loved the days of dubstep, but I always had the love and passion for house music. I enjoyed listening to it. When I was growing up as a kid, my mum, she was a big lover of like Madonna and Sophie Alex Baxter.
Oh wow, Murder on the Dance Floor.
Classic.
So all classics, and they're actually like artists that I still include in my sets to this day.
Yeah, of course.
So I always had that love for house music. But when I first started DJing, dubstep was the way, and then I just slowly started getting out of it, and then started picking up house music.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole global movement now. Bass music has slowly declined. And
in Perth,
house
especially.
House. Oh yeah, in Perth. I mean, we go through waves of different genres, right? But now definitely house, tech house, very prevalent now.
Let me tell you, when I went to Europe in 2018, man, house never dies there. And obviously, Kid Caird Michael will definitely attest to this, but man, house music lives past Perth, past Australia. House music just lives on, man. It's insane how much Europe loves house. Tech house, all forms of house.
Why do you think? Why do you think that?
I don't know what it is, because they have so much love for it.
Yeah.
There's so many people that love listening. I went to a club that's just house.
Yeah.
Like they don't play anything else, G.
Yeah, right.
This
I guess that's why it's popular.
This was in Croatia.
Yeah. I mean, Michael, what do you like? What are your views on that in terms of house music in the UK?
I mean, house music as a genre, it's the genre that will never die.
Exactly right.
It has been around for one of the longest and has so many variations of it. So you've got, your general house, you've got UK garage house, disco, funk, tech house, bass.
Tropical house.
So many. Yeah, there's so many variations of it. So, it can be accommodated for anyone's personal taste. But as Jaay was saying, all around the UK and Europe, they just play house music. And house music and nightclubs that play that type of music, I feel the people, they go purely for the music and their love and enjoyment for it, which I love seeing.
Yeah,
and it's
100%.
definitely over here in the UK.
Yeah.
UK is a huge home for house music, and it's seen literally everywhere.
It's huge. Ministry of Sound obviously started not only in the UK, but obviously in the Europe era. Ministry of Sound, the big DJs like Carl Cox and stuff like that, guys that are literally still around today that have been playing for 30 years,
Still playing, yeah.
show you exactly where house music lives, which is, I mean, we've got Fisher and all these house boys from Australia, but that's, like you said, only in the last 2 or 3 years have they popped up.
Correct.
House has been forever partying over there, bro. And it's insane. Like you said, dubstep still lives there as well. Australia is very sealed off, but that's another topic.
Yeah, we'll move on. Now, Michael, give us a rundown of why you moved over to the UK.
So I moved over to the UK because I'm currently living with my beautiful fiance Georgie.
Yeah, Beyonce, woo!
Yes, so currently living with her out here in the UK. Start of last year, she came out to Perth, spent about 6 months with me over there.
Yeah.
So obviously it was my time to come out here, see where she's lived, grown up her whole life, which is obviously Cornwall.
Yeah.
But as well, I wanted to work and sort of craft, my music and the sounds that I was trying to go for.
Yeah.
So I came out here start of November last year, so 2020.
Yeah.
a year before that, I was working full time, 5 days a week at JB Hi-Fi, working the weekends on DJing. And I just wanted to build up the income for when I got out here.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't have to worry and stress about a constant income coming through to get by the constant bills.
See, he's sensible.
100%. Financially
and
stable.
then just focus purely on the music, which is what I've been doing. And I've been loving it every step of the way.
I mean, like, this is your first time living abroad by yourself, but you have been on holidays. You've been on working holiday, a year ago, whatever, 2 years ago?
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago. I did a 5-month holiday.
Yeah,
wow. It was kind of like half a holiday, half a working trip. So the first part of it, I did America, I did Belgium, and Japan, and then I went to Thailand and Greece, and I was fortunate enough to DJ on Koh Tao. Yeah. That's where I met Georgie.
Wow.
And then I DJ on EOS in Greece. So it was like half a holiday and then half a working holiday.
Yeah,
so
and you definitely say that that trip has geared you up for moving to the UK, right? Like, you've experienced all that. And now,
It's the most impactful set he's ever had. Imagine playing a set and meeting the love of your life.
That's pretty cool.
What?
That's pretty fun.
That's crazy.
And when I met Georgie in Koh Tao, that was the best holiday I could ever, ask for, and all the experiences I had there. But meeting the love of my life there, coming back to Oz, I just had a new focus and motivation and game plan, and nothing was going to get in the way of that. And that's why I worked and worked 7 days a week for that year before coming out here, so I could work on the sound, which is all that music and stuff is all me, but then so I can be with Georgie and spend time with her, meet her family and friends over here. So
you know what they say, right? Love conquers all, crew. Okay. That's the wrong. Anyway,
can I just say? I just want to point out there, guys. Like, we've been talking about this on the podcast for ages. Like, we talk about follow your dreams, do what you need to do, right? Do what you do, and things that need to find you will find you. Mike goes out there, DJs what he loves. He loves house music. DJs what he does. He loves traveling, so he does it. In what he does and what he loves, he finds his love.
Yeah, that's crazy,
right?
It's like a love story.
While doing what he loves, he finds his love. Comes back with a new love,
new passion, new drive.
Doesn't let anyone stop him. Keeps going, and then now he's over in Cornwall. Beautiful beachside town. It is.
That is beachside.
It's a beautiful beach town. You want to know how I know that?
Wow.
I used to see a really beautiful woman named Isla, who was from Cornwall.
I'm to her.
Right.
Maybe Michael can send a letter or something.
No, she's married now.
Oh, hey, you know what they say?
Shout out to Isla, if you're still around, if you're still listening.
It's Georgie's neighbour.
It's actually quite a small, like not small as Perth.
Small, hey?
It's smaller than Perth, but they're very close. And she was like, "You have to come to Cornwall. It's the most amazing town. They have like pebble beaches. They don't have sandgy. It's all rocks. Amazing,
interesting." And look, let's talk about your experiences with moving over in the world of the coronavirus.
Oh. Wow.
I know there was setbacks, reschedules, blah blah blah. Let's start from the beginning on how you got out of Perth.
Yeah, how did you?
Because you got out like in the midst of everything happening. So
I got out probably right at the perfect time, because when I touched down in the UK, a week later, the UK went into its third lockdown and travel was banned. So I just got here in the nick of time.
Man, Boris Johnson.
So the first step I had to face was getting a travel exemption, because without that, you can't leave the country.
Correct.
So I applied for that travel exemption, and luckily I had the flights already booked. So I had the flight number because me and Georgie booked the flights earlier that year, and that was like pre-COVID and whatnot.
Yeah. And were you guys planning on living together?
Yeah, so the original plan, what we had is when she came out and spent that 6 months with me, originally it was meant to be 3 months. We were then going to go back to Thailand where we met, work there for about 3 months.
Yeah.
She was going to go back home. I was going to go back to Perth for about a month or so and then move out to the UK.
Yeah.
But then coronavirus happened and changed the plans there.
Yeah.
So yeah, got that travel exemption, and it was when I sent off that email for the travel exemption, they were like, okay, going to take maybe about 3-4 weeks to hear back from us. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then in literally 3 hours,
Whoa.
I got a reply, and they were like, yep, cool, you've got the exemption on the basis you're leaving the country for X amount of time.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, sweet, got the exemption, so everything can go forward. And then getting the flight over was real simple and easy.
I mean, there was only limited routes leaving Perth, right? So what route did you take?
So I did Perth to Doha and then Doha to Heathrow.
Qatar
and
Airways?
that was the only flights per day leaving. So, normally when you go to an airport, you just see like the board with all like
all the flights,
all of the flights and whatnot. All of that was empty except one.
Wow.
And that was the flight that I was taking. So that was a bit surreal and crazy to see. There was hardly anyone on the plane, which was a bit refreshing. Considering it was kind of cool. But then I touched down in the UK, and then literally a week later, London is in its third lockdown. So all shops closed.
No one's on the streets.
The original plan me and Georgie had was when I came out here, we were thinking coronavirus was either not going to be around or non-existent. So we were going to move to Bristol, both work there, travel more so all around the UK.
Yeah, of course.
And, DJ and play all those, regular events and whatnot. So, spend majority of the time in Cornwall. And, setbacks have been, because Cornwall is seaside view country, it is a country town. So everything is a little bit more further distance away from each other. But, I've, going for a walk on the beach and just, for runs, I found that keeping my fitness up during the time of lockdown has been so crucial and so important.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you don't, I was, you basically can go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was my next question. Like, mentally, obviously you can't prepare yourself for being stuck in a country town, coming from such hustle and bustle, having coronavirus here is very, it's not that prevalent. And so going from there to, from here to there, how did you prepare yourself, like mentally?
In all honesty, I thought I could prepare and everything, but then there were a lot of times where, that my mental state probably did get the better of me. But the best way I sort of dealt and coped with it is know that I myself am safe, staying indoors, following the rules and the regulations, because, it is very serious over here. And as you said, Firman, I came from Perth, which you guys are doing fantastic with coronavirus, and, you're almost back to normal life with clubs and going to sporting events and whatnot. Coming from that over to the UK and then having to be stuck inside for so long, it was difficult at times to obviously adapt to that. But I've had the goal of wanting to focus on my music, learn more, and learn more about my creative side and embrace all that. So that's the biggest motivation of what's kept me going, is staying true to my word in terms of like, okay, I'm going to learn to make a new sound. I'm going to make a new track today. I'm going to learn how to create something in Photoshop. The list can go on. That keeping those goals and staying true to them, and once you tick the goals off, that
feels good, right? I mean, look, I would not survive 1 second of in Marco's situation.
You would.
The introvert side of me would. Michael's lucky because you have support around your fiance is there, Georgie's there, right?
Correct.
So you know, like that's one thing that you'll never lose, right?
Correct.
When you're there, so that's really good. Now you haven't played a live show for what? How long now? How many months?
My last live show was like late October, so I mean we're in April now, so that's 6 months. 6 months I haven't done a live show.
Half a year.
And before coming out here, I was doing a lot of live shows, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. It was a very regular thing that I was doing. So to go from that to doing it was, I didn't know really sort of what to do with myself a lot of the time. But I've got controller decks, which actually used to be Firman's at here.
A little bit of Firman
so
over in Cornwall.
got that out here. I try to do a mix, once a week to keep
live streams as well, eh?
Keep myself sane and whatnot. But yeah, it has been very difficult to go from playing all those live gigs to not. And then as well, over in the UK, everyone that was booked for, say, nightclubs and events here, everything has been pushed back. So they're all going to, once the lockdown finishes completely over in the UK, they're all going to be playing
April 16th.
Obviously, all those there. So got to network and meet new people, which I already have online, and it's been fantastic already. And I can't wait to meet people in the flesh and just network and get to know more people.
When does lockdown and stuff end? Well, not like next easing of restrictions end in the UK.
So today is actually one of the first days where restrictions are eased off. So you can go to a sport, not a sporting venue. Like you can go to the gym. You can go to the pub, but you can only order pints from sitting down. You can't stand up.
Correct.
So today's actually the first day where it's eased off. But the game plan and the roadmap for the UK is 21st of June is where nightclubs can go back.
Wow,
that's a long time.
Back. It's a long time, but everyone is working very hard and tirelessly to get to that point because I feel the pain over here with everyone in the UK.
Man.
Everyone wants it to get back to normal.
Yeah, man. I've got a friend in my best mate's over in Brixton at the moment. He's working from home, and he was like the venue manager for a couple of pubs there, and he was just like, it's insane. Like Perth, people listen, right? Majority of people, mask on, whatever. From that, they don't listen over there. Man. People are still going.
I mean, it's just a mass amount of population, right?
Yeah. So
it's hard to wrangle everyone and get everyone to listen.
I had a friend, Suze. She was like, her hometown is like, she's Irish. Like they're still going to mass.
Oh, really?
Like 400 of them in a church.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're just like, guys,
don't do that.
God, I know you love God, but if you don't listen, you're about to meet him because coronavirus is insane. And then my mate Mitch messaged me today. He's in Austria. Hadn't messaged in 2 weeks. He had coronavirus.
Wow.
He was like, I just got out of coronavirus. He was like, it was like a really extreme flu.
Yeah.
And I was like, I keep forgetting it's real.
Yeah. We're very sheltered.
People over there are like, come on, man. Please, just stay indoors for 7 days. That's crazy. And I'm so glad you're looking after your mental because that's the biggest asset you really have. Your body we can change. We can go to the gym. We can do this, that, and the other. The mental, very hard to get back. So it's great to see you working on yourself and keeping you and yours mentally fit. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the deal now? That's it. You're just gonna wait till June.
Can you give us any exclusive things, or are you keeping it all under wraps? Or
that's the whole point of this podcast. You're gonna get those special features. Yeah.
Damn.
So currently, waiting for obviously the 21st of June. I've been meeting a lot of people online that have different ties in with events and festivals. But in terms of me myself and what I'm doing,
give us one thing.
I've got a lot. I've been, as I've said, focusing a lot on the music, and I've been getting a lot of record label signages and deals, which I've been so ecstatic and so happy about.
Yes.
And there'll be there's a track coming out on Vanilla Ace's Wildcard Records. That's
nice. Exclusive shit here, boys.
I'm very excited for that one to come out. And High Definition Records, that'll be later in the year.
Nice.
So a lot of tracks coming out on record labels that I hugely look up to. I'm going to be starting a not weekly, a monthly radio show on data transmission. So that's going to be every month, 2-hour tech house sets. And that's going to be a great chance to feature some of my music, but other music that I'm feeling as well. I'm calling it Kid Caird's Tech House Party. So perfect party starters or to keep the party pumping. So I'm keeping myself busy, and I'm damn excited.
I mean, we live in an online world now, so we can make a living online.
Yeah, 100%.
You could do anything online.
We'll put in a couple of links below for Kid Caird Reacts. He does a lot of YouTube videos right now of him
Instagram,
reacting to new house tracks that have come out in the world of house. He also does a lot of live mixing and live creating on stream. So we'll link those as well in the
Description,
the description, so you guys can have a check out. For all the people that love house, Mike's the man right now, Mr. Kid Caird himself. That's amazing. That's a great segue into his music. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive into Kid Caird's music right now and talk about what he's done so far. So as of today, if you've looked at the Instagram for Kick-Ons podcast, you'll see that there is a track featured with Kid Caird, and he's on Spotify. So walk us through how you what was the first track you released? How did it
first
feel?
ever track?
Oh god! So the first track I released, it was called Tech Savvy, and I listen back to it now, and it sounds overly distorted, piercing, and that's what everyone's track first track should sound like.
Yeah.
But I still listen to it from time to time. I still have it up on my Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and I like to keep it there as a reminder of this is where you started out.
Yeah.
And for every track that now gets released, that's you've come such a far away. But yeah, I released Tech Savvy, would have been about 2.5 years ago. And I did that through DistroKid, so I was able to release it to Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all of the platforms. Yeah. And then
I mean, during that time, right? You were studying at Lab 6, right, for production.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So big shout out to Lab
went
6.
Wow. Yeah. So I went to Lab 6 for my DJing and for my production, for the production courses and DJ courses that they do. So huge shout out to Lab 6. I would not be anywhere without the crew there.
That's crazy. Almost 4,000 monthly listeners on your Spotify, by the way. 3,944. Biggest track right now looks to be 60,000. Get Up.
That's huge.
60,655. Wow.
Yeah, that was a collaboration with Perth boy Namara. We've got 2 collabs, so that was Get Up and then Right on Time. Yep. They should be the most
top 2.
Yeah,
I guess so the reason why those got a lot of views is it's got a lot of plays in some playlists, correct?
Yes. So Namara, who's Kate, he's got a very popular Spotify playlist of house bangers that he grew himself through promotion on Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok,
all of that. So that's putting the tracks in playlists. Playlist submissions, they are a very huge and I guess big deal in a way. But there are some playlists out there that they take money for submissions and things like that.
Correct.
Which everyone's got to make money somehow.
Yeah,
it's completely understandable. But it's just noticing the difference between what's acceptable and fair than what's a rip off for say one song for 2 to 4 weeks of
100%.
being in a playlist type stuff.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, I spoke to some of the Habitat guys, and we had a Habitat. We went to the Habitat a party with Chumba that recently was thrown here in Magna House, and I got I've known them for ages. Guys like Darren Jones and stuff like that have played through Habitat, and I've spoken to a couple of guys, and look, man, I think I would love to see a headliner Kid Caird Habitat party.
Oh. I'm sure Marco can make that happen. I'm sure we can make that happen.
Shout out to Habitat guys. I'm going to link you this podcast, so you better be putting on those links for Kid Caird, showing what they've got.
The return.
No pressure.
Whoa!
I mean, we love to grow local, or IGA, locally grown. This boy locally grown. What are we doing, Habitat? Come on now, put him on. So huge collabs, huge start with your music, and then where do we go from here? You've got your stuff that you're recording right now, that you're making, that you're producing. Talk to us. So
Tech Savvy was the first one I created, and then I created a few more. So there was some more. Yep. And where I personally think, I guess, was the next step of my production was my track Ballin'. And that was the track that I spent quite a lot of time on, trying to perfect the drums, the bass line, and just sort of the sound I wanted to go for. I released that, and that took off and got a very good big traction. Everyone was loving all the elements and things and like that. So I then created more songs. Just the basic outline of every track that I try to create is I want it to be high energy, danceable, but different. So I'll always try and incorporate, new and weird, different sounds. That probably where you may not expect those sounds. But then in the next breath, I am still learning as a music producer.
Sure.
I've been doing it 2.5 years, and I like to think I know what I'm doing, but I know that I learn
learning,
every time I sit in front of the computer. I learn something new every
Yeah, of
day.
course.
New button to press.
Yeah, new hook to add in, new drum to put in.
I've noticed
Then
in a heap of tech house songs,
Yeah.
there's always a vocal. Like a
female vocal.
No, not necessarily female. No, female vocals are like deep house tracks. We're talking like a phrase or something, before the drop.
It's just a spoken word phrase, and it could just be like a common one is "Deceiver" by Chris Lake and Green Velvet.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And that just works, right? That's what people like.
A lot of the fish are like fruits come out.
Yeah.
It's just a bass line that comes in the next 16 bars. So with all this music being produced, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens? Who signs you first? What was your first big break?
First big break. Well, first sort of big break for me personally, which was a personal goal, was getting one of my tracks onto Blank Audio. Now, Blank Audio, a huge YouTube channel that's, they promote free or tracks that, you can purchase. But they were just like a blogging service, kind of like a record label, but they mainly focus on YouTube. Yeah. And I've had been, a huge supporter of their YouTube channel for years. It was always a goal of mine to get one of my tracks on Blank Audio, and I got so myself and Gordo, who is a Melbourne producer, or he went by Gordo then. He is now called Jimmy Disco. We created a edits of Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang.
I just love that.
Yeah. And that was, we got that signed to Blank, which was absolutely amazing. That skyrocketed off with a lot of downloads and plays. And then just before I came out to the UK, that's got signed to Blank. So that was, for me personally, the first big break and first goal sort of achieved. And then when I was in the UK, I was working on more tracks and more edits. I created another edit, which was a Crystal Waters Gypsy Woman edits, and then that got
banger of a track, by the way. If you've not heard Crystal Waters Gypsy Woman, it's one of the best female house vocals back in the day.
I'm a hip hop guy.
I love that track so much, and I just wanted to do an edit on it. And I love my edit that I created, but I love the original. I play
your edit, by the way, just letting you know. It's so amazing. I do love that. Robin S. Crystal Waters, kind of like that old African American woman female lead, was so strong. It's so passionate. It's so danceable. It's everything that you culminate into your repertoire. So crazy to think that your edits and your bootlegs are out there, huh?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's great. And so that was I got the second track signed to Blank. And then from there, I started creating like a folder of unreleased tracks that I was making. So I put that into a playlist and just started sending it off to record labels. Yeah. So just finding labels on SoundCloud, through social media. Majority of them will have like a demo email in the description. So you just I learned how to type up the
online CV or something,
submission email,
short and sweet.
And then a few started replying. I got Future Freaks Records. They signed Big Beat, which would have been like just over a month ago.
Wow.
And that was been going fantastic. I believe it still is in the top 100 bass house charts of Beatport, which is like fantastic.
There we go.
To me. And then so that was the next one. And I've on Bomber Ass House, I have a collab with Bassini called This Beats.
Wow.
And that's been going incredibly well as well. And then actually last Saturday just gone, I found out that Biscuits played one of my tracks.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
Yes,
huge.
Yeah. He played that one in his live stream, which
how did you find that track? How did you actually find the track?
Well, that one was a free download,
right.
But a lot of DJs, they have promo emails in like their description, so you
Yes.
can send them promos and whatnot.
Yeah, okay.
And me personally, I'm a big believer of, if you don't ask, you don't receive.
Sure.
So if you don't do something, you don't know what the
Good
outcome
mantra.
will be.
Yeah.
So I sent him a few of my songs, and not expecting much because he's such a huge DJ. And he's
Yeah.
I was thinking he probably doesn't have time, and it's okay, but I'm still going to send the email.
At least it's there.
And then
Yeah.
he replied back, and he was like, "Man, I actually really like a lot of these songs. I've downloaded a couple. Great work. Keep it up." And
Wow.
Biscuits is an artist who I've looked up to for years. When I started mixing house music, he was really coming through with his house music. He's definitely one of my top inspirations and people that I look up to for that. And actually 2 years ago at Listen Out, I went to Listen Out for Biscuits because that was his first time playing in Australia
Wow.
on tour. And yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday, 2 years ago at Listen Out, watching him play, and it was such a vibe. And, he kept the crowd so just entertained, and it was just awesome to see because I've been looking up to him for years before that.
Yeah.
And then, 2 years later, he's actually playing one of my tracks.
Crazy.
It was it is a surreal moment for me.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Lots of hard work and lots of commitment pays off. The process that you've used to just stick by your word, asking you shall receive, and then you really back yourself has shown great work.
And also with that promo folder, I noticed you also sent that to a whole heap of local DJs, pretty much anyone who want to have a listen, and I think that's a great way of
100%.
getting your work out.
Exposure.
Send them, exactly. Send them a link, and it's there for them to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a lot of, mates in Perth and around Australia that, I send my music out to just to see if, they vibe with it, and I look for feedback a lot of the time. I'm all about constructive criticism because, I've got so much learned still within my life, as everyone does.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, if they've got any thoughts about the tracks, they could say, "Oh, no, love it. Got no feedback, going to play it."
Yep.
Yeah.
Say, "Cool, awesome, download it." If you get any clips of you playing it, send it over type
Yeah, of
thing.
course, of course.
Yeah, just send it out to get some feedback and see what people think. Because then that's, you want to make music that people are enjoying, they want to listen to, and they want
Yeah,
to
of
think
course.
is dance.
That's what music's about, right?
And so many people have different tastes of music and what they like and what they don't like. So to get a good grasp of that really then
good way of
improves
putting it,
your music. And yeah.
Segueing from that, what's your top tips for young producers?
And guys that are just starting out in FL Studios, able to this, that, the other.
All right. So my top tips for people starting out with producing is it's okay to take breaks. It is 100% okay to take breaks, and it's healthy, because when you're starting out, there's so many buttons to learn. It can definitely get overwhelming.
So do you mean in terms of like in the project, when you open up a project, don't work on it for hours and hours on straight? Take a break.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, take breaks as well. Yeah, just basically take breaks. If you want to work on it for hours and hours and you feel like you're progressing, that's okay as well. But
Yeah.
if you feel like that you're not progressing anywhere, but you think that you need to work on it, it's okay to take breaks.
Yeah, I guess because you get creative blanks.
Or just like, because obviously you've adapted to so many new things. This button does this, and you need to drag this button to here, and then you get overwhelmed with information. How do you deal with it?
Yeah, breaks. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Straight break.
Take breaks. I do this quite a lot. I pull in inspiration from different genres of music. I learned this tactic through MK, who huge house music producer for years and years, and he did an interview, would have been maybe last year, and I remember him saying it, and when I saw that, I started doing it myself.
Yep.
When he feels like he's having, say, a creative mental blank or doesn't have any sort of inspiration, he would listen to a different genre of music. And I don't just love house music. I do still listen to dubstep music. I still listen to drum and bass, hip hop, rap, R&B. I listen to practically anything except country music. So what I like to do is listen to, mostly electronic music because
Yep.
that's more sound design made
Yeah.
in front of a computer.
Yep.
And listen to the elements that they try and include it. And one of the tracks that I've made that's currently unreleased, but will be getting released on a record label soon. I can't disclose that one yet, but will be getting released.
Oh, okay.
But that track there, at the drop, there's this very big wub sounds, and I got that inspiration from a drum and bass song. So that was like, like this sort of drop synth, like bass, like a top horn type sounds. I put that inspiration and by ear created a sound that was quite similar to it, and put it in a house track, which you normally don't hear, but it worked, and the record label loved it. So that was awesome to see.
So now, top tip. Michael's number one tip: take a break, ease yourself up. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to get something straight away out. Take a break, have a break, have a Kit Kat, and then also
Not sponsored.
Oh damn! And then obviously, if you are taking that break and you are having that mental block, jump around genres, grab some inspiration from whatever you feel like. Mike does it through music. You can take it from a book, you can take it from a poem, TV show, whatever. What else have you got for us, boss man?
Less is more. Definitely.
Explain what you mean by less is more.
So sometimes, especially with house music, it can be applicable for other genres, but especially for house music, a lot of music that is just very simple and stripped back, but if it is done, right, and spend a lot of time on
quality,
a very good kick and bass line combination that creates a good groove, simple but effective drums that will create a consistent groove that keeps people dancing, good vocals but not overpowering, not all like in so many places at once that the listener gets disorientated and doesn't lose focus, nothing that's too long that people lose interest. It's too long so they go over to the next song. So just taking all of those things into consideration, don't feel like you have to fill your song with everything.
That's a rookie mistake, right? Everyone they want to layer as much stuff as possible, and shit just gets lost. You know what I mean?
She listened to my first
100 million track audio fucking Ableton file.
It's just 100 levels of just seeing for the effect. Effect. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, something I do is with that, even though it is a piece of my advice, something I do find myself doing from time to time is I'll just load effect and load audio track on audio track. And sometimes I'll have like up to 60 to 80 audio and MIDI tracks all in one track. And, I mix it down as I go along, and it just sounds like it's all hitting you at once, and it just sounds wrong.
Messy.
So what I always do that, and I always make sure with every track, I try have this sort of like a part of like the music making process is I try take away or just take away one of the audio tracks. It may be like an effects, a riser or something, and see how it sounds without it. And I normally end up taking away a lot of the tracks, and then test sometimes by having it on, sometimes having it off. But by doing that, you learn what actually really works well, what builds up the tension, what is creating that powerful sort of bass line, and so forth. So don't always add some more, but if you add some more, try do the combination of take away all of it, add it slowly back in. It's all a process.
And now I know the number one frustrating thing for producers, I think you'll agree with me, or you might want to tell me something else, explain, is mix downs and mastering. Now that's something that you struggled with for a long time, right?
I definitely did, and it's every producer's struggle, because mixing down and mastering, it's something that will never be as black and white. You do this and you do that and you get this perfect mix and master track. It changes. People go to university, get degrees in sound engineering, do this for years, and a lot of producers what they do is they focus on the mix down. They get all the levels sounding right to what their ears are good tasting, and then they will send it off to get mastered.
Someone else,
which is basically just juicing the waveform up so it's powerful and it's punchy.
Yeah.
Some people will send the tracks completely off for a mix down and a master.
Yeah. So it's okay. You're saying it's okay to do it, right? It's okay to send your track off to a mix down
unmastered, just raw format to someone else.
Yeah. So if you're sending it off to a person that like that's their job, that's their full time sort of thing, and
sound engineers, audio masters,
you may know them. Like there's a heap of mixed and master companies out there that promote their services, and especially during COVID because everything is now done online. You know, if they've got a good reputation and portfolio basically of their work, then absolutely, you know, it's okay for, you know, whatever fee they may choose to charge.
Yeah.
But for me, when I started out, I did try to learn it all. I did struggle with it because I was still learning all the features of it.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, what I was saying before, there's so much to learn with music production. There is literally so many buttons, so many aspects of it, so many things to think about that you've all got to take into consideration. So it definitely does and will most likely get overwhelming when you start out. And when for the mixing and mastering down part of it, I was, I guess, struggling to learn it all. But once I started getting more experience I would do test trials and runs of like, okay, if I do this, if I actually up this level, change this sounds, how does that affect it? And, you know, the amount of car tests I've done, sound system tests on nightclubs that I was playing a lot. So like a club humble before doors would open, I would actually come in like, you know, an hour before and test all these tracks on a proper sound system. So all of those tests, and it's, you know, it trains your ears as well to learn what to do and what not to do. So right now I've got a good system that I do for my mix downs and masters, but that is continuously growing and changing every day, really.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, I fucked around with producing, especially during COVID when I locked myself in my room for like 6 weeks. I have 6 really, really shit dubstep / trap songs that I have, right?
I want to hear these.
These are terrible. And I actually spent 1 week literally learning how to master because none of the individual sounds were on a level. They were just on one channel. They weren't channeled. So I had 85 sounds on one channel instead of 85 channels as one song, right? So I would have the snare, kick, drum, bass, this, that, 808 on one. Yeah. So just and I was like, oh my God. And then I learned obviously how to put them all on different channels. So we had 10, 12 different channels. Yeah. It changed the game. Right? I'm absolutely shit.
Basic thing, man.
Right? Because obviously me, I got so overwhelmed, right? I got so overwhelmed by, oh man, this is a sick. How do I link the snare and the kick together? How do I chain these together? It's gonna be sick. Yeah, wow. And I got so focused on that. Step back. It's all good. Remember, there are things you can do. Take a break. Send it to someone else that you know. It's a process that has so many levels to it. You will never stop learning. Even we watched me and you.
Oh, David Guetta.
David Guetta making the bootleg.
The WAP on it.
Literally yesterday. And even he was like, oh, I like this. And he's still doing things that, you know.
Do you know one funny thing that he said was, on the second drop, we want to add a little bit urban into it.
Urban beats. So
guess what urban beats are? Urban beats are 808s.
he didn't know how to say the word 808. So he's like, we're going to add an urban beat to this track. And we heard it and we were like, this motherfucker made 808s. This guy made 808s.
If David Guetta says that's urban and it's an 808, that's it. It is what it is.
That's it. Right? You can't, like I said, you can't beat David Guetta's got more hits than I've got fingers and toes. So mate, that guy speaks the truth. It's amazing to see your journey. I am so proud of you, dude, and
huge.
I want this podcast. I want this episode to blow up because you deserve all the fame and fortune that you get because.
No, we're riding on his clout.
Literally, just by this interview alone, kids that are out there that have always asked me about producing, about routine, about mental state. This guy literally lives what he says. He commits the whole way, and he does he backs himself.
Yeah.
If you have those fundamentals, the world's your oyster.
Exactly. Now wrapping things up, what's in the pipelines for you personally? What's your pipeline? What's your plans over the next coming months?
So next coming months is just going to be making more music, building up more sort of, I guess, friendships, networking, all that stuff as much as I can. Once I hit 21st of June, I'm going to be going to a lot of festivals just to be in that environment because I miss it.
Yeah, you were saying, right? You want that. So, you want to just go out.
Yeah. But as well, I want to travel. I want to travel around the UK with Georgie. Getting married in September as well, so that's obviously
huge.
In the works and the plans.
That's awesome.
Which planning a wedding obviously takes a big deal, but it's super exciting. And then after that, we're going to be working on coming back home to Australia.
Damn, that's huge. That's huge.
What was that? So coming back to Australia when?
When?
What time?
You don't have to give us a date.
No. Did he say time, mate, or
no, he didn't. He didn't say time, mate. No.
Wow!
No, there's no timeline. I wouldn't give that information out, I feel.
No, of course, but I thought I didn't hear it because I was so focused on it. I was like, wedding.
No, I won't be disclosing the date yet, but we are looking at coming back, and it'll be sooner before you realize.
Holy shit! Let me just say first and foremost, before you get back, please let me know, or Firman will let me know.
I already have a date.
I'm gonna be putting your shit to like as many festivals and events that I can possibly put you under, so that you get overwhelmed by our gigs. Because honestly,
I need you back at Humble, to be honest.
Humble.
Prandy's leaving, so. An all-star party member leaves.
Yeah, David Prandy, shout out to you. So I know you listen, and good luck. We'll talk about you in a little bit.
Prandy, we'll talk about Prandy.
And we're also having you back on Nevermind Small Club as well. Having you guys at Habitat, stuff like that. It'd be awesome to have you there.
Damn. Okay, so where can we find you online, Michael?
So you can find me online. Look, Instagram. Just do www.instagram.com. Kid Caird. You can find me on SoundCloud, Facebook. I post majority of my music on SoundClouds. I'm very active on Instagram, Facebook. They're the main socials. So you can find me Spotify as well.
Young DJs,
we'll link it below.
Young DJs, if you need some links to house tracks, man, Michael's got a whole collection of things that he's ready to release to you guys for free. And then there's also stuff that he will release to you that is paid. You experience the whole Kid Caird effect because it is.
Damn.
It is an amazing.
I mean, we can talk for hours, but unfortunately, that's all we got time for.
Ladies and gentlemen, the always amazing Kid Caird in Cornwall. Give it up. We love having you on the show. No, I can't wait for you to come back. It's going to be amazing. He's in good hands. I got you.
I cried last night.
He did. He did cry.
Okay, anyway, we're not talking about that. All right, cool. Well, thanks for playing along.
Man, thank you so much for having us spend some time. I appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you for having me, boys.
We'll have you back on soon. Don't worry. We'll have a more casual conversation. But yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, this is our second last episode before the season 1 finale of Kick-Ons with Firman and Jaay. We will reveal to you that the last episode we are going to try and find a location for Kick-Ons.
Seal's house. We will be live from a Kick-Ons location. Unedited, uncensored.
Everything
will be going on around us. We'll be trying to record an episode. It'll be crazy.
It's going to be one of the best season finales that have ever come on air on a podcast. Stay tuned for that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is all the time we got. My name's Jaay. That's Firman. This is Kid Caird. And this is Kick-Ons with Firman and Jaay.